Yeah. Ai, kun hjälper mig. Okej. Þá fyrir við eftir hinga. Svona. Okay. Eitthvað. Okay. Það tekka hvort það sé ekki örugglega á hérna. Halló, halló. Okay. How are you doing today? Good? So today I'm going to talk about the RAMES framework, which is a part of assignment 4. And I will tell you about this framework and how you use it in the assignment. And I was actually planning to have a long lecture, maybe, I don't know, 50 minutes, something. And then you could ask me if you have some questions about assignment 4, and then we'll quit. How does that sound? Okay? Great. So first announcement so maybe we should do something here. Wait, here, like this. This one. Nei. Akkur gerist þetta ekki. Að þið eru með eitthvað annar opið kannski. Hvað málið? Svona. Okay. So I did change the schedule once more. This is an iterative course. Really, I'm just like changing a little bit for your convenience. And also there was one trip abroad that I need to go to on 11th of March. So, but that fits actually your project work very well. So there will be no lecture Wednesday, the 11th of March. Then you can work on the project and evaluate. On the 9th of March, I decided that we could have a question and answer session with Ragnheiður, the lady that came from Trip Creator. But just to be sure that some people will be there, please send me an email if you're interested to talk to her. She's happy to come here, but it's maybe a little bit strange if she comes, takes, comes here and there's nobody there. So if there are some people that send me email, just even though it's only one group, she will come. Okay, so now today we are doing the RAMES framework. Then there will be a question and answer session next Monday. In a week, there will be no lecture, but you are doing the Think Aloud experiments or testing. Hi. And then in the week after that, on the 16th and 18th of March, you were presenting the 4th group assignment, and we will have an individual assignment in parallel like we did for assignment 2. So you will have surveys then, both on the 16th and the 18th. And they will come, both Ragnhildur and Hilmar, the CEO of the company. They want to come and listen to your presentations. And then mainly we have only 1 week left. So on the 23rd, I was going to give you a lecture on various methods for gathering feedback from users. And now you have a different understanding, and I will give you also introduction to more methods than you have been using here in the class, like for the projects and so on. Wednesday, the 25th, there will be a discussion session. So there will not be a lecture, but it will be like a workshop or a discussion there, and this will be an individual assignment to take part in that. And then right before Easter's, we will do a wrap-up and summary of the course. And you could ask me about the exam. There is 1 lecture scheduled after Easter's, but I think then you would like to read for the exam instead. So there's no lecture. I think it's just good to finish the course right before Easter's. So these are the changes. And I have put a new version in my school of the schedule. Okay, like this. So these are the announcements. Remember to send me an email if you would like Ragnhildur to come. And the schedule for places and timings for the Think Aloud evaluations with the tourists, it will come in my school today. She was checking the final arrangements. So she was going to call everybody yesterday, and she hasn't sent me the exact places, but there will be 4 places and 3 time slots and 2 days at least. So you should have at least 24 alternatives to sign up for. And then you should think about that next Monday, you should have finished the expert evaluation and the pilot test to be able to do the user testing. So now I would like to explain the RAMES framework for you. The objective is to support IT professionals and researchers that are going to conduct user-centered evaluation. User-centered evaluation is both user testing and also expert evaluation. So it's all evaluation that is centered around the users. And it is a framework that is supporting people that are evaluating to plan the evaluation and also sort of assess and compare and document the evaluation. So what you will be doing here in assignment 1 is that you will both be using it before you do the evaluation for planning, and then for documenting, saying what you did in the evaluation. Yeah, and it can also be used to compare various methods, but you will not do that. But I maybe will tell you later after you've used it. I could come back to it. So this is the framework, and the letters there, rames. These are the first letters of each category. So you see, you have roles, activities, materials, environment, and system, rames. And actually, these are all things that you have to think about when you're conducting evaluation. There are a lot of things. And this framework is supposed to help you in, it is sort of a checklist for deciding on all these. So when you're planning, you can go through it and think about, okay, which users would I like to have involved if I'm doing user testing? What evaluators will be there and so on. So yeah, so the goal is to plan evaluation activities, and we would like to be sure that nothing is forgotten, that we didn't think about something that is vital for the evaluation. And this is, it's especially useful for formal evaluation. So that's why I ask you to use it now, because you're doing that in assignment 4. Yeah, and it can be used both for user testing and expert evaluation, and you will be doing that in assignment 4. So I ask you to use it both for the expert evaluation and the user testing. And there are 3 authors of this framework. It's me, and this is actually what has been, I have been developing this since maybe 2009. Then I did put forward the first version of it while I was doing my PhD studies. And Jan Gulliksen was my supervisor in the PhD studies. And he has provided a lot of good comments and been cooperating in defining this, and also Niklas Hallberg. And they are both at KTH, the Technical Institute in Stockholm. Okay, so let me explain we call it elements. So, you know, each of those, which are numbered there, R1 or R, R1, 2, 3, and 4, and then A, these are elements, okay? And I will explain all the elements for you now. So the first is the user element. So if you're doing user testing, empirical evaluation, then there are some users taking part. And you have to say which people will take part. They can be actual users like you're doing in assignment 4, or it could be maybe some, we call it user surrogates, people that are pretending that they are, or they are similar to actual users. But in analytical evaluation or expert evaluations, users don't participate. So then you just leave it blank, or just say, no, there were no users participating. So this is actually, the RAMES framework is meant to describe how was the evaluation conducted? How was it performed? It's not about how, you know, what will be the users of the system. It is how was the evaluation conducted. Okay, the next one, evaluator. There's always an evaluator when you're doing evaluation. So, but they have different roles and of course different knowledge, depending on what method you decide to use. So in user testing, like you're doing, the conductor has a particular role, giving, handing all the material to the user, keeping track of the time and so on. In expert evaluation, they are giving their opinion or they are evaluating themselves. So there are different activities that they do. And in the RAMES framework, you are supposed to just tell who are the evaluators that conduct the evaluation. There could be some observers. So sometimes when we are doing user testing, there's somebody there to observe what is happening. And this could be a note taker, people that are writing notes. Or sometimes this is people from the industry coming and observing how the users are really doing. And they could maybe be hidden, so the users don't see them, or there's this room with a window and the IT professionals can see the user, but the users can't see them. So there can be various alternatives about this. But observing user testing is really valuable information, and you get valuable information for doing this while seeing the users. It's really incredible to experience it. Then we have to think about also, when we are doing evaluation, which people will actually be using the results. Who are the recipients or the people that take the results and do something about it? In my case, this has been sometimes the company that is asking me to do evaluation, or sometimes it is actually me that will use the results for research, or make study writing papers about the results. So this is also one element that you need to think about, and this is good because or you can use this because you have to think about, okay, how can they use the data that you're giving them or the results in a good way? The activities, so now we are there, and then second one from left to right. So there are many activities that you need to do when you're planning and conducting evaluation. The first is to actually decide why are we doing this evaluation? What is the purpose? Sometimes you could say, yeah, we are doing this to measure the usability, or we are doing this for measuring user experience. But it could also be, we are doing this for improving the design, or we are actually doing this just to measure, get like a measurement. Now the status is like this. That is summative. The other one for improving the design is called formative evaluation. And according to the, the choice of the evaluation method depends rather much on the goal of the evaluation. So if we are doing formative evaluation, we could do more informal evaluations and so on. But if we are doing research or doing, like, we want summative results, we need more formal evaluation methods. The next one is the plan. So just this includes where should we be, when should we do this, how long time should each session take, and so on. So that is activity 2. The third one is actually doing the evaluation, conducting it. And in the RAMES framework, you often do that by describing which method you use. So in your case, you're both doing expert evaluation with these tasks from TripAdvisor, and then you're doing think aloud user testing. So that will be the variance for you when describing this element there. And sometimes, like when you say that, okay, we are doing think aloud, this means that there will be some steps that you need to go through. While in the evaluation, you need to ask them to fill in the questionnaire, then solve all the tasks and fill in a questionnaire again and do the interview. So there are, these are the tasks that I'm talking about there. But sometimes the evaluation is conducted in more informal way, and you could actually use the RAMES framework for that. Even like when you were showing to another group your sketches, you could actually describe that with the RAMES framework. But then it was a more informal way of doing evaluation. The fourth and the fifth activity, fourth is the when you analyze the results, when the evaluation is over, you have to take the data and analyze it. You know, you can summarize the data and really interpret the results. And this could be done either in with a group of people or in analyzed individually afterwards. Oh, there are a lot of misspellings there, but I have to change that after this presentation. And then the final activity is making decisions. Really, okay, and what are we going to do about the results? Are we going to take some action? And these, the recipients actually of the results are the people that will decide what to do. So in this assignment 4, you just analyze the results and present them to the recipients, which are TripAdvisor, trip creator, the people there. And then and they decide what to do. But sometimes, like you, like when you did the informal evaluation, you also decided what to do about it. Okay, the third thing in the RAMES framework, this one in the middle, it should describe the material that you use for the evaluation. So we are here. The first one is the material used in the evaluation itself, you know, when conducting the evaluation. And these are the user tasks, and this could also be questionnaires and so on there. Additional material presented to the participants. But when you're doing expert evaluation, this could be like guidelines or standards or something. In your case, these are actually the tasks that you got from Trip Creator to go through. That will be the material for the evaluation. There could also be some support material that you use to support the process. This could be something that is described how the users should do. So the happy path is actually a good example for the support material, because this is something that you won't give to the users. It is more for supporting the evaluator while conducting the user testing. So it could be some training or tutorial support for the users, but it could also be something that the evaluator uses. The next one is the data gathered. What data are we actually gathering? What material, what files are we using for that? And the data could be quantitative or qualitative, meaning quantitative, meaning that are numbers and like what you can count. It could be also the time that you measure, but qualitative is more like comments. And here you should say what data you are gathering, and you could also say that you are using this Excel file provided to store the data. The results. So see that there's a difference between the data and then the results. So data is like actually the numbers. But when you have calculated the average time and you say, yeah, and this is not too bad, then you're interpreting the results based on the data, you see? So if you only say the average time is 1.5, that is, okay, that could be results, but you're not interpreting everything. Data could be first task started 12.5 and finished 12.10. That is data. That is just core values. Yeah. And then when you do something with it, you make averages, you have results, and then you can start to interpret, is this a good result or bad result? How does it compare to other results? That is really results. And that is what people would like to hear. They don't want to hear that it started 12.5 and was to 12.10. It doesn't really matter if it was 12 or 5 or something. But that is data. So we always make a big difference between data and results. Okay. So a common way to describe the results is counting how many usability problems you found and what the severity was. But also you could describe average time on task, a number of mouse clicks and so on. There are a lot of, we've been going through that. There are a lot of different ways of measuring. But the results are actually used for making decisions on how to respond to the results. And that was the last thing about materials. There are these actual decisions. Okay, we then decide that we will do something about this, this, and this, and we will wait and see if we have time for doing the rest. So this is also some material that comes out of the evaluation. Okay, so we've done now 3. We've done roles, activities, materials, and we have environment and system to go. So yeah, equipment, I mean. And there are 3 elements. First, the evaluation environment. And actually you can conduct evaluation in very different places. So, and you will be conducting it near the tourists in a hotel or in a tourist office and so on. So you have to write where did it take place. And this is very valuable to understand also the evaluation results. So if you ask users to come here to Reykjavik University, maybe come to a dark room with these walls and everything, they are maybe more stressed and it's not as natural, the evaluation, as if they are in their own environment. So when possible, I really try to make the evaluation in real settings. So if there is a system that you're developing for homes, I really recommend that you go to their homes and try it out there. It's much, much better because you can see so many other things also. But sometimes we conduct, and this was very popular like 15 years ago or something, that then people thought that making it in a usability laboratory where everything was very strict, and that was the optimum way. And expert evaluation can also take, it takes place somewhere, sometimes in the development environment. So you have to also say, where do you perform the expert evaluation when describing the expert evaluation by using RAMES. We had two others, so just to remember, what equipment are we going to do for gathering the data, like measuring the time? What are you going to use? Is it the computer, your telephone, or something? Do you want to record what they say? What equipment are you going to use for that? So these are the things that you have to think about when writing this, about the data gathering equipment. And then there could be some equipment for analyzing the data. Often we use Excel, but it could also be SPSS or some other like statistical tools for doing that. And then the last one is the system itself. So you have to describe what system are you evaluating. And the software has some characteristics like name and version and so on. And actually, like for a web, we have to say which date we are doing this, because it can change, each day. So we have to be careful really describing, okay, what was the version that we were evaluating? The type of the software, it describes the main field. It could be a business software, game, social network. For you, it's this web for tourists to plan their trips. And the type of the software can actually influence very much how you evaluate it and what measurement you're doing. So if it's a game, you do user experience because they want to emphasize fun. But if you're doing something for work, so it's very good to think about what is it actually that characterizes this system, and then the evaluation is affected by that. We're only we have three elements left. So the stage of the design of the soft or system we are evaluating can be in various stages. So it could be a low fidelity prototype, meaning a paper prototype, something similar that you were doing, showing sketches to people. And you could use RAMES to describe that. Or like we are doing now, a running system that is out there. And it can have various stages in between. So we have to say at what stage we are evaluating which part of the software, because we never or almost never evaluate all the software or system. So we have to say, okay, we just focused on now the, maybe if we decide to focus only on the map functionality, maybe in this web or something, then we could state that there. Or we focused on being able to conduct these 7 types, but of 7 tasks, but not, we didn't go through other parts of the software. And then the last one is the equipment to use the system. And, you know, if you have paper sketches, this is actually paper, you know, you're not running it on a computer. Sometimes I've seen that people, if they are doing something for a phone or GSM, they use something like a cartoon, smaller than this, but it could be like a small piece of foam, and then you have the sketches on it. So it will be like realistic in a way that you feel the size, and you hold something in your hand, but then you just push the paper. So it can't be, various things that you're using to illustrate how it will be to use this software. And this was the last one. So we, the 3 people, the authors of this, we have gathered the elements that we think is important to document when you're doing evaluation, and important to think about to be able to do a high quality evaluation. And the document is like this. You insert text in this, and I have put a Word document in assignment 4 for doing this. So you have this framework there. And maybe because we are talking about that, I could also show you now the Excel file. So I have also put in the Excel file that I forgot to put in on Monday. So here you have a registration file for registering the data. So for user 1, the start time was this, finish time was this, the total time in second was this, did he complete or not, and so on. So this is yes, I've done this layout for you to be able to fill in. So this is the data for the tasks. This is the data for the usability issues. So here you should think about one user at a time. So the user number 1 was solving this task number 1, and he had this issue. And then maybe later on, user number 3 was solving the same task and had a similar issue. So you describe it again. And then you see, okay, this is a similar issue for user 1 and 3. So then you could make a one usability problem, and there were 2 users that experienced it, and you decide how the severity. So there are difference between the issues. The issue is per user, but the usability problems is more like results, because you have interpreted the issues and combined some of the issues into problems. Yeah? Is it clear? This is very important. And then when you have done the list of the problems, you could suggest how to react to those. So you could actually, you are asked to describe some suggestions for changes, and then you say, and this will solve problem 1, 5, and 6. And you don't have to write this, write it in text. You can also sketch it if you like. So you could just name the suggestion there and say which usability problems it's solving, and then you could just make a comment here, and this refers to sketch number 1. Some questions? Okay. Let me show you an example of how to use RAMES. So remember this study that we did, me and Sigrun Eva, which is teaching in Greining and Hönnun. So we went there to the aluminium factory because they wanted to measure both an old system that they were using and then a new system. And we measured the new system 2 weeks after deploying it, and then half a year later. So, and I have shown you how we analyzed the results and interpreted the results and showed the results to the recipients. But what we did, we were measuring the effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction, and we did 3 measurements. And we had 6 predefined tasks. And actually, there was a project manager at Alcan that helped us in doing that. I was the conductor, and Sigrun Eva was the secretary. And this is the data that we gathered. If the task was completed, we listed usability problems, we listed comments. We also gathered the data entered and how many systems they use. And we did questionnaires after task and after test questionnaires to measure the satisfaction. So this is an example of how to use it. So you see there, for the users, we had 6 workers at the aluminium company. And because this was for planning it, we are saying that at least sisters should participate, because this was before we actually conducted it. And the evaluator, that was me, and I acted as a facilitator, and then Sigrun Eva was observing, and then the recipients, the people that took the results and reacted to the results, were IT managers at the aluminium company. And then, you see, we made a summative evaluation. It was conducted in December 2001 in 2 days. We wanted each test to only take 1 hour. We analyzed the results. We made a written report, and the IT managers took care of the reacting to the results. The material we used for the evaluation was 6 tasks. And we did it in cooperation with the manager of the users. We had also these questionnaires. So we had the pre-evaluation questionnaire and the post-task questionnaire, and then after-test questionnaire or post-evaluation questionnaire. So we had 3 questionnaires. You have 2. You have one for the background and one after evaluation. So you have one pre-evaluation and then post-evaluation. And then you have the questions for the interviews. So you have 3 documents there, and then the tasks. The support material, we did also have a similar thing like the happy path. So we had descriptions from the manager of the users how he would like them to solve the tasks. And this was the data we gathered. The results were presented to the IT manager. We had a presentation, and then he was responsible for responding. The evaluation environment, we went there. So it was in the user's real work environment. And it took place in 3 workshops, verkstæði in Icelandic. And there were 2 users at each workshop. We recorded the data with a voice recorder and then writing notes on paper. And the equipment for analyzing the results was just Excel. And then we did a written report, and we were also interpreting while writing the report. And the system we were evaluating, it was this CSD, the old one. And user interface was in Icelandic. It was used for work, for actually ordering spare parts, and yeah. So it was a work-related software to keep track of spare parts for maintenance, and it was running on site and had been running there for 13 years. And this you could also add. The website has been running since January, I think, or December. What did Ragnhildur say? She said something about it. Or you could ask her Monday. Yeah, and it was running on a PC in their user's own work environment. So you can see how it is. It actually summarizes all the things about the evaluation, so you're able to describe the evaluation in a compact way. I would like to show you one example for expert evaluation. So we have, we've been saying that there are 2 types of evaluations: the user's observations, and you are doing performance measurements in assignment 4. And then we have inspections or expert evaluations. Actually you are, I would say that you are maybe doing this one, or yeah. So expert evaluations are in that way that the evaluator inspects the interface and registers usability problems. And often they do it first individually and then gather to summarize the results. I have an example for how to use the RAMES framework for heuristic evaluation. There you use 5 to 10 heuristics, which are guidelines. And an example for one heuristic could be clearly marked exits. It should always be clearly marked how you can finish, and quit this task or the whole in the whole system. So and the procedure for heuristic evaluation is that you look at one heuristic like this and you go through all the interface and check, is it always clearly marked how to finish? How can I know how to close this window and so on, or this part of the task? And if you see that it's not clear, you can then register, okay, the users will probably have problems here because it's not clear enough how to close or exit this. Okay, so using RAMES for heuristic evaluation, there are, of course, no users because this is expert evaluation. So we just say that there. The evaluators in this case, there were 20 computer science students that will take part. This is a plan again. there will be no observers, but there will be 3 researchers that compare the usability evaluation methods. So in this case, we asked computer science students to do the heuristic evaluations, but we, the people that were researching how to use the methods or how easy it was to do or do heuristic evaluation, we took all the results from them. And the purpose of this evaluation was to gather predicted usability problems, meaning that we think that users will have these usability problems. The predicted means that we don't know because they are not there, but we think so. And it was supposed to be used in a research study. It was conducted in December 2005, over 2 days, you see. So. And the procedure was that each evaluator evaluated it individually, and then the results were analyzed according to a registration tool and heuristic guidelines. So we analyzed according to 2 different categories. The evaluation in this case did not influence the design, so there was no procedure for making decisions on how to react to the results, more than just writing a paper on the results. So the material that was used in the evaluation was 10 heuristics, and we actually had the evaluators divided into 2 groups. So 10 evaluators used the Nielsen's heuristics and 10 used Gerard Powell's heuristics. So here we are describing the approach of doing this expert evaluation with a group of people. And the support material, we did send them a checklist of how to conduct the evaluation. And they got some digital audio files to explain how to do this, the procedure of the evaluation and introduction to heuristic evaluation. And then we gathered data, so we got pre-evaluation questionnaire from them and post-evaluation, and then the predicted usability problem lists. And they made a thorough registration for each problem. So they had like 7 attributes that they had to tell us about each problem. Yeah. And finally, for the environment and system, the evaluation was conducted in the environment that the evaluators chose. And so we didn't really have any restrictions there. They could do it at home or at school or wherever. We didn't really know. Some evaluators were asked to use a web page to register the usability problems. So there were 10 asked to do that, and 10 were asked to write it on paper. So we were also checking that. And we used Excel and did write a report to analyze the data. And this was the tool that we were evaluating. It was a tool called EducaNext. And it was used for sharing, retrieving, and reusing learning resources. It was running on the web. And they were asked to evaluate it. And then used this tool to report the problems. Okay, so what do you think? Is it clear? Yeah? Hope so. You can always send me an email if you have, or we can discuss on Facebook. I think I've been rather quick in answering you. Sometimes during the weekends I didn't see it, but I've really tried to answer you as quickly as possible. And I think that is actually functioning well. there are many people that see the answers. Okay, so the last thing is that there are some changes in the schedule. So we will have a question and answer session next week with Ragnheiður, if there are some people that would like that. And as I said, it's enough if there's only one group that shows some interest, she will come. And Wednesday next week, we will there will be no lecture, but then you have the opportunity to run the user tests. And of the week after that, you will do presentations. And it will be for, so Ragnheiður and Hilmar will both be here during both days. Hilmar, the CEO. Then on the 23rd, there will be a normal lecture. 25th, there will be like a workshop. And on the 30th, we will close or wrap up and have questions for the exam. So, do you have any questions or comments or anything? It's all clear?
When are the slots for the user testing?
Yeah, we were planning Tuesday and Wednesday. And we were thinking about I think it was from 9 to 12 and 1 to 4 and 4 to 7 or something. And there will be at least 4 places and 2 days and 3 slots. So it should be, like at least 24 slots.
And you will just give us a slot where
No, we will. I was planning to make the slots available on a Google document and share it to you. How about that? Yeah. I don't know if I can do it in maybe I could do it on the Facebook page. Would it then be? No, they're not that. Not all in the Facebook group. So I will have to do it in my school. Yeah. And just share it with all of you, and then you can register. And then you can see also all the slots that are occupied. Yeah. But it is, I think it's 3 hotels and then 1 like tourist information office. And maybe maybe she can also have some available slots on Monday. She was going to ask also when the people at these places think it's most likely to meet the tourists. So I hope it will work. It would be great fun. And there was a question here about if you could give them some presents, and they managed to they would like to buy chocolate for the tourists. So you will be able to give them chocolate. So we could also distribute that Monday, next Monday. If you meet up there, or do you have any other suggestion of how to? Should I ask the people in the Sun to have it there so you could just get it there? Yeah. No. Yeah, let me think about it. I could just send you an email about that. I haven't got it yet. So I haven't seen it or tried it. Some other comments or questions? Okay, I will stay for some minutes here if you would like to come individually and talk to me. Thank you for attending today. Hope you have a nice day. The weather forecast is really, really bad today. So it was supposed to start at noon. So Hope you won't be blown away.